Okay, Assalamualaikum. So today we are going to discuss about mathematics group assignment topic 10 spatial probability distribution function. Next. For table of content, what we will learn is first the meaning of spatial probability distribution function, second examples of spatial probability distribution function, lastly is question and answer. For probability distribution, there are two types which are discrete probability distribution and continuous. For discrete, we will learn about binomial and Poisson, while continuous is normal distribution.
What is spatial distribution function? For binomial, a binomial distribution refers to a probability distribution that deals with the two outcomes of an event, which are success or no success. The occurrence of one event does not depend on the occurrence of the other. The events are independent in nature. Also, the number of times an event is repeated is fixed. It is closely related to Bernoulli distribution. The probability of success of P(S) for each trial is the same, and the probability of failure of the trial of P(F) is equal to 1. P equal to P(S).
Okay, now I will explain about example of binomial spatial distribution function. Medical professionals used to use the binomial distribution to model a probability that a certain number of patients will experience side effects as a result of taking new medication. For example, suppose it is known that 5% of adults who take a certain medication experience negative side effect. We can use a binomial distribution calculator to find the probability that more than a certain number of a patient in a random sample of 100 will experience negative side effect. For example, probability more than 5 patients experience side effect. By using a binomial distribution calculator, we can get 0.38400. Probability more than 10 patients experience side effect is 0.01147, and probability more than 15 patients experience side effect is 0.004. This gives medical professionals an idea of how likely it is that more than a certain number of patients will experience a side effect. Next, banks use the binomial distribution to model the probability that a certain number of a credit card transaction is fraudulent. For example, suppose it is known that 2% of all credit card transactions in a certain region are fraudulent. There are 50 transactions per day in a certain region. We can use binomial distribution calculator to find a probability that more than certain number of fraudulent transactions occur in a given day. For example, probability more than one fraudulent transaction is 0.26423. Probability more than 2 fraudulent transactions is 0.07843, and probability more than 3 fraudulent transactions is 0.01773. This gives banks an idea of how likely it is that more than a certain number of fraudulent transactions will occur in a day.
What is spatial distribution function? The Poisson distribution is a probability distribution that is used to model the probability that a certain number of events occur during a fixed time interval when the events are known to occur independently and with a constant mean rate.
Example of spatial distribution function for Poisson: calls per hour at a call center. Call centers use the Poisson distribution to model the number of expected calls per hour that they will receive, so they know how many call center reps to keep on stock. For example, example, suppose a given call center receives 10 calls per hour. We can use a Poisson distribution calculator to find the probability that a call center receives 0, 1, 2, 3, 0 or 1 or 2 or 3 calls in a given hour. For example, probability is equal to 0. When we use Poisson distribution calculator, we get 0.0005. If probability is equal to 1, we get 0.00045. And if probability is equal to 2 calls, we get 0.00227. And lastly, if probability is equal to 3 calls, we get 0.00757. This gives call center managers an idea of how many calls they are likely to receive per hour and enable them to manage employee schedule based on the number of expected calls. For next example, second example, number of arrivals at a restaurant. Restaurant use the Poisson distribution to model the number of expected customers that will arrive at the restaurant per day. For example, suppose a given restaurant receive an average of 100 customers per day. They can use the Poisson distribution calculator to find the probability that the restaurant receive more than a certain number of customers. For example, if probability more than 110 customers, they will get the probability is 0.14714. Next, if the probability is more than 120 customers, they get 0.02267. Lastly, if the probability is more than 130 customers, they get 0.00171. This gives restaurant managers an idea of the likelihood that they will receive more than a certain number of customers in a given day.
For question 1, I choose question 7 from Twitter chapter 10. It is claimed that 95% of first-class mail with the same city is delivered within 2 days of the time of mailing. 6 letters are randomly sent to different locations. So, first question is, what is the probability that all 6 will arrive within 2 days? So we get X binomial is 6, 0.95. We can get Y is B, 0.05. So the probability of S equal to 6, we get 0.7351. So the second question is, what is the probability that exactly 5 will arrive within 2 days? So the probability S equal to 5, we got 0.2321. And the question 3 is, find the mean number of the letters that will arrive within 2 days. So we got mean is equal to NP. So in this question, mean N is 6 equal to N and 0.95 is equal to P. So we got 5.7. Last question is, find the variance number and standard deviation of the letters that will arrive within 2 days. So for the formula variance is NPQ. So we get this N equal to 6, P equal to 0.95 and Q equals to 0.05, and we got the answer is 0.285. But we want after that we will find the standard deviation. So the answer from variance, and we got 0.5339. That's all for this.
thank you. That's all from us.